Everyone, this is Zhishuan. The case study I'm going to talk about is the Philadelphia Starbucks arrest crisis. Sorry about my voice. I just had a really bad cold and I almost lost my voice. So in today's presentation, I'm going to talk about what happened and how Starbucks responded to this crisis and the analysis of it and the lesson we learn from how they deal with it and the conclusion. So for the first part, what happened on April 12, 2018, two black men were arrested by local police in Philadelphia when they want to use the bathroom in Starbucks. But those two people didn't purchase any product. And when the employee asked them to leave, and they refused to do that. So after the racist incident happened, there were protests going on the street with the sign "Too little, too late." Um, and here's how Starbucks responded to it. So 2 days after the incident, the CEO of the Starbucks, Calvin Johnson, stood out in front of the public. First of all, he strongly condemned what Starbucks employee had done to those two black men, and he said calling policemen and arresting them is totally wrong. And second, he showed a sincere apology to the victim of the incident, and also feel apologized to who felt being offended by this incident. And third, he decided to close 8,000 Starbucks stores in the US for one afternoon for the mandatory racial bias education. And finally, he promised that people don't need to buy anything to use the bathroom in the Starbucks in the future. And based on what we have learned in this class, crisis communication, and also the textbook crisis communication, I believe that how Starbucks responded to this crisis can be considered as a success. And in the textbook crisis communication, there are three important elements that can play an important role in persuasive education, persuasive speech. Ethos, pathos, and logos. And I believe that the CEO of the Starbucks well used those three elements to encounter this crisis. First of all, Calvin Johnson was absolutely the right and perfect person who should speak to the public because of his title and the power he had. He has a credential that the audience are looking for, and what he said can be viewed as trustworthy and can have a very important impact on how Starbucks employee will treat customer in the future. What is more, Johnson was doing a good job on dealing the crisis by taking responsibility personally, and we all can imagine how busy he could be, but he still take his personal time to deal with it. A third, um, um, he clearly stated that when employee acts were wrong, and he didn't try to make it up or try to um, explain it in other way in order to make things look nicer. And his honesty makes customers have a sense of security to what they will experiencing when shopping in Starbucks, and the CEO's honesty gave people some degree of forgiveness for what happened in the store in the Philadelphia. And the lessons we can learn from from this crisis is that um, mm, the the leader of the company stand out in time, apology to the victim, and apologize to people who feel offended with a sincere attitude, and he takes the responsibility personally and take actions to improve the quality of our service by closing 8,000 Starbucks store in the US to have a mandatory racial education. And he also have a specific plan for the future business. Therefore, this crisis will have a, a huge impact on the company. And here's a conclusion. No company can be immune from crisis. However, if it follows the lesson we learned from the Philadelphia Starbucks arrest crisis, the crisis won't damage the company reputation much, and they still will be favorable to their customers. And here's my references. Thanks for listening.